magistrates put together, we don't even have 100. The number. We have 34 magistrates. 34 magistrates providing service for Sierra Leoneans. Mark you, the magistrate court is a court of first instance. And if they are overwhelmed, 34 magistrates. Let me state this. In Tanzania, just Tanzania alone, when we went to Ghana, when they were giving us their statistics, the Chief Justice said in just Tanzania, they have over 600 magistrates in just Tanzania. Now, 34 magistrates in Sierra Leone. Let me state this. There was a management and functional survey that was conducted. And what was that result? It shows that one judicial officer, that is a magistrate or a judge, was providing service to over 143,000 Sierra Leoneans. 143,000 Sierra Leoneans. Can you imagine that? Just one judicial officer. With the recruitment and deployment of those magistrates in places where there have been no resident magistrate, when we have magistrates deployed in all districts and judges deployed in some of those places, the number decline. As it is, one judicial officer is providing service for 98,000 Sierra Leoneans, when the African ratio is around 22,000. Look at the gap. And the people don't even know the challenges our magistrates and judges are confronted with. Amidst those limited numbers, we have different, one judge, just one judge or magistrate, the workload or the caseload in just a month or two, they have over 500 cases before them. So you see, in fact, if people know the challenges they are confronted with, the kind of constraint they are working under those unfavorable conditions. Let me state this again.
Elkas, before you state that, in all of the developments, achievements, and improvements in the judiciary, what the general public looks forward to is access to justice at the judiciary.
Yes.
And with all the challenges, how much time does each of the judges, magistrates spend in the courts presiding over matters?
Fine. The Constitution talks about 3 months. You understand? Now, I admit the fact that when you talk about speedy conclusion of those matters have been a huge challenge, or have been so challenging. Why?
Which is why often they say justice delayed is justice denied. There are people who would tell you they've got cases in courts that run for years. What leads to the delay?
Now that's where I'm coming. Now let me state this. When a matter is before Magistrate A or Justice A, there are a lot of factors responsible for those delays, apart from the limited number of judges. One, the attitude of the lawyers. For instance, let me bring the APC case. They just concluded Alfred Peter Conte's case. 13 applications were made. 13 applications. And in each of those applications, the judge will have to rule. In each of those applications. And if in delivering his ruling, maybe the number of pages will be maybe less 25 pages. So in every in each of those matters, you ask for adjournment, and apart from the adjournment you are asking for, you make applications. Some of the applications, with all due respect, they are unnecessary, but because they are at liberty, because of the laws we have, or because of the rules.
So again, Elkas, that comes entirely on the citizens who table their cases to the courts. That's entirely on them, on how they feel about those cases and making the decision of whether or not to take it to the court. Yeah. But then, as a judiciary, with the amount of cases you have, how do you set the priority agenda to determine which cases to sit on immediately and which ones to set aside? How does that agenda, how do you set the agenda?
No, we don't have priority agenda. We don't
so
have,
how do you determine what cases?
The reason why we don't have priority agenda is because every case that is before a judge is very important. No matter the magnitude of the offense, as long as that matter is before Judge A or Magistrate A, he prioritizes that particular matter until that matter.
I ask you because for the citizens, there are people who would tell you that they've been going to court since forever on an issue they've not had a verdict. And there are people who would tell you they've been going to court, but not too long, there is a verdict on their case already. So for people like that who would probably sit and compare notes, oh, I've been going to court for a couple of years, no verdict. Another person would say, oh, well, I went there, in 6 months I got my verdict. Such people would want to know genuinely, how does the court determine what cases to sit on?
Okay, let me state this. Yes, I wholesomely agree with you before now that there were cases before even the appointment of the current Chief Justice. A case, somebody will tell you, and I know that's true, that case A has taken 3 years or 4 years. Some will even say 5 years. Some will even say almost to 10 years. There was a woman who works, I think in the Ministry of Lands. She went to my office virtually crying that matter has taken more than 7 years at the Judiciary of Sierra Leone. 7 years. I said, no, that should not be the case. And let me tell you what the Honorable Chief Justice has put in the mechanism he has put in place to ensuring that magistrates, judges are working in terms with the prescribed aspirations of the Honorable Chief Justice. What we have done now, all those the problems we are having is that I must say, even as much as I speak on behalf of the judiciary, these are problems we inherited. Mark you, over time, even the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report did not spare the judiciary. They had to bash the judiciary and blame the judiciary. Let me say this, please.
Sorry, I'm so sorry I'm rushing you because yes. I'm also mindful of the time we have left to round this up.
Okay, let me.
You've still not answered how the priority is set. Is it the Chief Justice that determines what cases to sit on a daily basis, or is it by the date that the case? How?
Okay, let me state this. Now, what have we done to address those challenges?
Because, no, that's not the question. My question is, how is it determined the cases to sit on?
We don't prioritize cases. We don't prioritize.
So so they just go to court and bring these files. Let's sit on these.
No, that's not it.
So how is the decision made?
So can you please allow me, because
please just speak to that directly. Yes. I'm trying to make sure we use the time
I am trying to also inform and educate those who are listening. If you give me time, it will be okay, fine.
So the question
is? Yes. Now, like I stated, when they filed from the registry to the Honorable Chief Justice office, the Chief Justice assigns to Judge A, Judge B, and Judge C. We expect that judge to speedily complete that matter. Now, what have we done to making sure that we achieve this? immediately the matter has been assigned to Judge A, Judge B. If you go now to our website, because we actually need to monitor and track the work of our magistrate, our judges. They are being monitored. How the Honorable Chief Justice is doing that now. When he assigns a matter, we automatically upload that to our website with the CS number, the case number. You understand? If you go to our website, those cases that have been assigned to the Honorable Chief Justice are there. And every month, we expect returns. Those monthly returns are there to be able to monitor Judge A or Judge B, so that we'll be able to look at the challenges in what is the problem for delay, the reason for long adjournment, and how do we make sure we devise a prompt mechanism to address those challenges. All this you are talking about now, these are things that were happening before, but we've been able now to address them. I must tell you now that there are, since the ascendancy of the Honorable Chief Justice to that position, since 2018 December to date, we have not had a situation wherein a matter has been assigned to Judge A or Judge B and has taken that long. It has never happened.